Welcome back, everybody, to our weekly energy update. My name is Jona Bryndis. I'm a professional energy healer and energy coach and founder of transCODES, a platform for teaching energy awareness and helping people to learn how to connect within so that their self-discovery journey becomes a journey of awakening. I'm here every Thursday for you live to talk about collective energies, and today we're going to be looking into week 37, that is the 8th till the 14th of September 2019, and we will look into what is already there. I always emphasize how these energy updates are not actually predictions, how they're more reports. So every week I come here and report about what energetically sensitive people and empaths and people who are starting to awaken to these unseen realms, what they are experiencing. And I'm doing this to help you to perhaps better understand what is yours, what isn't. You know, that some of these aspects might not even be yours. Now, you already see the energy barometer here for this next week. It's on green, and that typically means that these weeks are a little easier for us to deal with. Now, does this mean that everything is going to be hunky-dory and, you know, there's nothing that you need to do and you can just sort of check out and go about pleasure arrangements? No. When I decide to put the energy barometer on into the green zone, what it means is that there is a really, really good opportunity. It also means that these outer impacts, these negative outer impacts, are phasing us less. It doesn't mean that they're not there. It just means that if we can see this opportunity, that it becomes a lot easier for us to stay calm, to stay centered, and to find, you know, this treasure in, you know, whatever is going on in our lives. Next week is all going to be about reasonability. Okay, it's a continued reality check. By the way, I strongly recommend you go back to the energy update from week 35 and also the energy forecast for September. There are some really important aspects covered in there that I will not cover again in the weekly overview. Today I want to talk about these consequences of our actions and choices in the now, and why it's so important to be in the present moment, why it's so important to really connect with our true self. And by the way, this reminds me, due to the hurricane, and yes, everything is okay here in Florida. Unfortunately, Bahamas took the blow for us, and South Carolina is getting hammered, you know, here in a few hours or days. So my heart goes out to all of those of you who actually suffered from Dorian. We were lucky this time, but who knows, next week could be different again. Anyway, due to the hurricane, I moved the True Self session, which was originally scheduled for Tuesday, to tomorrow. So our monthly free energy healing session that allows you to experience this connection with your true self, with your divine self, with your higher self, with your soul self, no matter what you call this, firsthand, is going to be tomorrow, Friday, at 5 p.m. So if this is, if you are in Europe, if you're in Ireland, England, it's going to be 10 p.m. for you. If in Germany, Middle Europe, is going to be 11 p.m. for you. If you are in Western Australia, that's going to be 5 a.m. for you. So guys, you need to translate those times here. We work remotely, which means people participate from all over the world, and they have to translate the session times into their own time zone. Okay, so the agreement here when this energy session takes place has to do with the ethics of energy healing and energy work, and also the way we do things here at transCODES, namely going into direct feedback with people. So after the session, we write a report for you, and then we discuss the personal, the individual aspects in our Empath Forum. The Empath Forum is free for everybody, guys. It's something that, if you are looking for places where you can learn things, and there's tons of free resources there, but there's also a lot of discussion there, a lot of video archives and so forth. But learning how to express things is typically the issue that we all have. So I want to emphasize here that what we do is not just sort of like, oh, I'm the healer and you are healed now. And if you want to, continually being healed, then come back to me. No. What we do is teach people energy awareness and self-healing, meaning we teach them how to do it by themselves as we are doing it, so that they can actually have a first-hand experience. Right, so these are the things here that you want to look out for when it comes to expressing, these things that you are experiencing. Next week will be a week where you will feel a lot of astral energies. Okay, what are astral energies? So this is kind of like a realm right around our physical 3D realm. I guess in the old days they called this the collective unconscious. All right, this is a realm, this is a room, a field that we can read out as trained energy healers, where energies, trash, entities and so forth, energetic trash obviously, sort of orbits around our realm and influences our thinkingness and sort of what we perceive, all right? And when there is a strong influx of that, it means that we can get pulled into fantastical thinking, into delusions. It also means for the trained empath that you can have really, really cool access to information about your true purpose, your true heart's desire. It opens up a gate for you that is sometimes more or less closed or clogged by all the thoughts and all the emotions that you have, where it becomes easier for you to see your own future. And this is why we will do a lot of manifestation work here in this week. Our giveaway is going to be the same as last week, namely a workshop teaching you exactly how to do this conscious manifestation, the steps that are involved, energy healing, energy awareness, and then we have a short break, and then we do a webinar where we actually teach you, all these fundamentals of consciously manifesting what it is that you are feeling that expresses your higher potential. When it comes to the struggles and the problems in our lives, guys, where we get into trouble is with all the things that we don't express, that we don't say, that we don't do. Think about it. How many times, you got into, situations, relationships, jobs, or whatever, where you had this hunch from the beginning. You knew that, maybe this wasn't the right thing for you, and yet you agreed to do it, maybe because you didn't want to hurt somebody else's feelings, or maybe you just wanted to go along and not really, sort of go into confrontation with things. So in the future here, and especially for those of you who are consciously awakening to these unseen realms within yourself, these higher self realms, all right, this won't work for you in the future, guys, because it's almost like you feel like you have a split personality, because you have this 3D being, this sort of being here that is constantly influenced by media and by all the things that come in from the outside, what the neighbors think and so forth. And then you feel this true self beating in your heart that tells you, or it's not actually an auditory thing. It's not like hearing voices. It's more like something that steers you into a certain direction. And for those of you who are very aware of this, it actually pulls you into this higher potential future of yourself. And the degree of struggle that we perceive has to do with how much we resist this one, okay? And therefore it often comes down to what we don't do, what we don't express. So it's very important here for this next week to have something like a common sense and this pragmatism that I already mentioned in the energy forecast for September and also last week, to be very practical. This is all about you figuring out how to live in truth and how to live your truth. Okay? And the stuff that is floating around in the astral and in the collective, and the stuff that kind of comes in from the outside, the matrix, as so many call it, is kind of working against us. All right? We have all this fake news and, false promises and revelation of unbelievable things that are coming forward that we kind of knew all along, but now, truth, illuminates these things and makes them emerge. And what this does to us is that it makes it a bit difficult for us to believe in something. It's a real strong, a very difficult time right now for people who don't believe in anything, because when you have nothing, all right, beyond 3D, beyond your ego, beyond your, sort of this dualistic or split personality self, okay, where you constantly feel tugged between two realities, all right, then it's very easy to get swept away or to get pulled into things that are not integrous or simply, not healthy for you. So it's very important here to go into this common sense also with your energetic sensitivity, with these new realms that you are discovering. There is a common sense, guys. All right, when people talk about all these fantastical things, and don't get me wrong, I've explored the etheric for over 20 years, guys. There is very little that I have not seen or encountered. But when people, a lot of people out there do this, talk about these things to scare you or to give you false hope, or to send you to the wrong exits, you are fodder, you are prey in that moment. And that's something, as far as my mission is concerned here at transCODES, that I have seen way too many times. This abuse of people's spiritual emergence, and it leading into a spiritual emergency. Again, this is a little bit part of this catharsis, as this forward coming of a new truth. And that's why I called it, we need to figure out how or what living in truth really means. And if we can do this, if we can learn how to tune into our true self, into our own first-hand experience with this, where nobody can tell us what is there and what this means and what your future is, all right, then you become an active participant in your future, in your manifestation process, all right? So you understand, a lot of this educational phase of your journey helps you to discern, it helps you to form a lingo, it helps you to express things in a more precise and more powerful way. And so the things that we don't express out of fear, maybe out of not knowing how to call this and so forth, are the things that make us susceptible to so many other things. Yes, so next week you're going to have to withstand the enthusiasm of the waterfalls and the unicorns a bit, because it's going to be a really cool week. All right, you're going to get a new perspective on things, maybe through some surprising elements in your life, but they will all help you to find new reason, and with it, a reason ability, with it the energy to to translate that, to turn that into something hands-on. And it will give you a new sense of purpose. It would be very beautiful for most of you, okay? There's a huge opportunity here for changing things for the long term. There's like a sort of a 5-month cycle attached to it, and then there is a whole new sort of decade, 2 decades, of a new future that you are able to really tune into right now, that can give you the passion, that can give you the drive and the energy to follow through, to walk the talk. All right. So, yes, lots of optimism is coming in next week, and understand the mechanics of manifestation here have to do with your ability to actually tune into this. One of the main problems that most people have is a scarcity mindset, a mindset that is based on lack. Okay, lack cannot get you to where you want to go, guys. If you internally keep thinking, I can't do this, I can't do this, no matter what the reason, no matter what you blame, no matter where you're pointing or externalizing the cause for this, all right, you are simultaneously giving away your power to manifest it. So abundance and the choices that we do, the where our energy is at a given moment, in the present moment, determines the energetic consequences of your choices. And sort of in energy lingo here, we call this manifestation. So if you are stuck in repeat, if you are stuck in situations that you dislike, or that are not promoting your growth, well, then there's something with these everyday choices. Okay, because what you're experiencing is, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's all your fault. I understand circumstances, I understand trauma, I understand abuse, I understand all this. And this is what we work through here at transCODES. This is what we help people to work through with these layers, that sort of alter our reality, okay? But at the bottom line of energy work, it comes down to your energetic alignment to yourself and to your future. And that is something you can change every day. This is where last week's tip with new routines comes in. This is about you being totally present in the now at all times, and becoming more aware of your energetic alignment. Am I aligned to fear? What do you think the consequences of any kind of choices, thoughts, actions, emotions that I have that are based on fear are going to be? How do you think that's going to play out in your near future, and also in your long-term future, as the manifestations that you experience? That's what you need to ask yourself. Another tip here for some of you who are struggling with situations such as powerlessness, entrapment, and so forth. This is a very, very good week to work on exit strategies, guys. You need to have an exit strategy. If you are afraid of a certain type of confrontation or a certain problem, and you just can't seem to break that cycle, then you need to use those times where there's a good inner connection, where there's a good inner flow, all right, to have a strategy. It doesn't have to be an ABC type of plan, but at least a strategy. How you gonna respond if things get too much for you? And of course, you're gonna have to be more aware of your boundaries in and of itself. But when you go through a crisis, guys, it's very difficult to overcome your nervous response, your fight, flight, or freeze response. So you have to have an exit strategy ready. Thank you for your hearts. They're finally arriving. Oh, how beautiful. Thank you. Did you hear me? You cannot access these higher realms of energy and higher vibratory solutions when you are in an acute crisis. You have to have a strategy for that, and you have to train and practice that when you're in a good place. Okay? And next week is going to be such a place where you can, due to your daily routine, meditating, calming yourself, grounding, working with nature, and all these things that we discuss here every year, okay? These will be things that can help you to develop an exit strategy, okay? All right, so the giveaway here at the end of each session are going to be 2 more tickets. So we already have 3 winners from last week, Kaylee, Grace Denise, and Amanda. And I'm adding 2 more tickets for the remote healing workshop, Conscious Manifestation, on Saturday, 1 to 4 p.m. For those of you who are typing into these comments right now, I want to live my true heart's desire. And as a little perk here, for all of you who are struggling with, maybe being able to contextualize these things that you experience, or, have no people that you can talk to about these things, or would like to know more, or simply curious about those energetic realms, I have just decided yesterday to do a public webinar for all of you empaths, energetically sensitives, and awakening people here on Facebook and Instagram, free, to talk about the realm of energies and energetic sensations, experiences, entities, spirit beings, and so forth, next Thursday. Next Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern US time. This is where I am, and I would sign up for my email, for my newsletter, a link here so that you get the invitation with the link. This is going to be a live event where you can ask us, not just me, here, professional energy trainers, energy healers, what these things perhaps mean, what you can do, how you can better deal with them, and so forth. This is a public, free webinar, 1 hour from 5 to 6, live, for you to ask the professional. All right, everyone. Yes, Susan, things are going to be better in the long term. And, it's like I've said so many times, for us to actually change something, it takes a certain level of pain, okay? So the pain of staying where we're at needs to become greater than the fear of the unknown, the fear of change. So there's a whole, sort of domino, a whole chain reaction when it comes to trying to find the courage to change. Watch the energy update from week 35. I was on a roll there. There's a bit bad video quality there. I was in the middle of the night when I recorded it, but I talk about, what is holding us back from making change there. Yes. Exit plan, hell yes. That's right. I'm starting to see you, but only occasionally, guys, so forgive me if this is not so interactive here today. Thank you for coming. Share the videos. Sign up for the email list so you get the notifications for the free webinars. And also don't forget our free True Self session tomorrow, Friday at 5 p.m. US Eastern Time. The opportunity for you, your friends, people, who would like to have their own experience with connecting within. All right, this is tomorrow. I'm sending out the instructions here in a few hours. Thank you so much for coming. See all Patreon subscribers in a few days on the Patreon channel, where I publish the more detailed energy tips. Share this video and come back next week. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.